Well, hello. Apologise for the slightly delayed start to our session, but we are now live and away in this heat. 200 IM is first up on the agenda. Cian Saville for Daventry is in 2. Kai Gelsthorpe for Derby XL in 3. 4 is it's Aidan Fitzgibbon for the City of Lincoln. 5, Owen Johnson for Repton. 6 is Bruce D for Northampton. All swimmers in this heat are para swimmers apart from Aidan Fitzgibbon. So Cian in 2 is SM10, as is Kai Gelsthorpe, as is Owen Johnson, and then Bruce D is S6, and he's swimming in lane 6. Aidan Fitzgibbon was first in there to 37.62. Second was Kai Gelsthorpe. Third, Owen Johnson. Bruce D fourth. And just waiting on Cian Saville to finish his race. Just waiting for all the swimmers to clear before we carry on with Heat 2. Second heat of the 200 IM. Jacob Breers for Deepings in 0. Jake Bort for Sutton in 1. 2. Jack Hughes for Lincoln Vulcans. Oliver Richmond for Nova Centurion in 3. 4. Amantethi for Rushton. 5. Tobias Hughes for Notts Leander. 6. Ryan Norton for Boston. 7. Stefano Fiort for South Links. 8. Jake Adams for Louth. 9. Ruben Fox Kirkham for the City of Leicester. Turning at 50. And about to turn at 100. 1 length of fly done. 1 length of back nearly at an end. Lane 1 seems to be taking the lead in the first half of this race. And Jake Bort continues to. His halfway split there was 1:08.09. And closing a little bit the gap now after the breaststroke, with lane 7 starting to pull through. That's Stefano Fiort. But it was still 1 over first. 153.74. 152.88. No, it was Fiort in 7 that has now overtaken Lane 1 just about. 25 to go now, and 1 seems to be doing well. And actually, the freestyle being the equaling factor in that race, it was Amantethi in the middle who took that heat from lane 4. Third heat is away. Zero is Lucas Granville for Nova Centurion. 1, Jared Collins for Nova. 2, Max Holland for Nova. 3, Sam Gray for Northampton. Manav Mystery of Northampton is in 4. 5, William Poyser for Leicester Sharks. Six is Dylan Jameson for Repton. Workstop have you and Hayes Wormel of in lane 7. 8 is Cole Angel for Kettering. 9, Daniel Doyle for Kettering. First there was Cole Angel in 8. And he has a strong breaststroke here too, so he could be in with a good shot. 108.02, but 108.09 for Sam Gray over in lane 3. So only 0.07 between those two at that turn. Turning for 50 metres to go. Who's at the wall first? It is lane 2 in the end now. 152.27 for Max Holland. So it is now Holland into versus Manav Mystery in 4, who's really started to come through after the breaststroke and onto the freestyle. Tight between Mystery in 4 and lane 2's Max Holland. As we approach the wall, it will be Manav Mystery that makes the wall first. Finish time 2:25.75. Max Holland second, and Sam Gray third in heat 3 of a total of 9 in this medley. Results on the screen for you there. 2:25.75 for Mystery, 2:26.57 for Max Holland. Zero in this one is Lewis Fitch for the City of Leicester. Aaron Johnson for Repton is in 1. 2, Ethan Ford for the City of Leicester. 3, Matthew Deason for the City of Leicester. Lane 4 is Jack Bignell for Northampton. Elliot Barker for Northampton in 5. 6, Ethan Randall for Corby. Daniel Harris for the City of Leicester in lane 7. 8, Noah Van Hoebeek for Chesterfield. 9, Oliver Stone for Ripley. Lane 6 with the early lead. Ethan Randall of Corby, 31.25 was his split at 50. He certainly wasn't the first there after the fly, but he will be the first after the backstroke. Randall first, 1:04.47, 1:06.76 for Ethan Thord. So he has over 2 seconds made up purely off the back of his backstroke swim. He will get caught on the breaststroke here, I think, though. Elliot Barker starting to come for him in lane 5. 25 metres to go till we get another split, and you can just see how Barker has the slight edge over Randall on breaststroke. And now we are on to the final 50. Barker in the lead in lane 5. 4, Jack Bignell training behind the 2 teammates. Northampton swimmers in 4 and 5. Bignell will try and come back hard on Barker here with 15 remaining, and he may do this, you know. Jack Bignell from lane 4 sails past Elliot Barker in 5. Bignell takes the touch in 2:22.68, 2:23.25 for Elliot Barker. Aaron Johnson is third. Heat number 5 has another set of 10 swimmers wanting to swim this 200 IM.
In lane 0 is Alfie Bisbee, South Links. Lane 1, Evan Hawley, Nova Centurion. Lane 2, Daniel Walker, Nova Centurion. Lane 3, James Dobney, Clapton. Lane 4, Nicholas Sacoparvola, Nova Centurion.
0-0 here is Alfie Bisbee for South Links. Nova have Evan Hawley in 1, Daniel Walker in 2. James Dobney for Grantham in 3. 4, Nicholas Sacoparvola for Nova Centurion. Guillemot Sierraville for Chesterfield is in 5. 6 is Callum Quirk for Leander. 7, Finley Gibson for the City of Leicester. 8 is Cole Stevens for Chesterfield. 9 is Joseph Greaves for Nova Centurion.
So pretty close here. We've got to change onto the present. Looks like Neil from Chesterfield.
So turning it halfway in this 50 of the 200 IM.
Pretty much all together onto the breaststroke. James Dobney of Grantham coming through now in lane number 3.
And several swimmers doing relatively well at this stage. 3 is James Dobney for Grantham. He turned in 1:07.13 ahead of the rest of the field. Five to go of this breaststroke leg, and well, it's all changed really after it. First in there was 1:06.83. It was Callum Quirk. Second in, 1:06 was still the split from the previous 100. 1:49.01. So it was lane 4, Sacco Pavolo, who was there first. 1:49.67 put Ville third, and 1:49.36 put Cole Stevens in second position. But it's going to come from 5 in the end here. Guillemot Ville takes it in 2:21.13. Second for James Dobney 2:22.12, and just 2/100ths behind him was Sako Pavola, 2:22.14. Heat 6 is the last of the ordinarily seeded heats. Ben Gibbons for Northampton goes in 0. 1, Laurel Roberts Burrell for Notts Leander. 2, Luke Chambers for Nova Centurion. 3 is Sam Leveridge for Calverton and Bingham. Sammy Prizer for the City of Leicester is in 4. 5, Harrison Clark for Nova Centurion. 6, Oscar Goldsmith for South Links. 7 is Thomas McMahon for Loughborough. 8 is Sebastian Ebanks for Derby Excel. And 9 is George Berwick for Grantham. Approaching the halfway turn on heat 6 of the 200 IM. It's going to be very close between 0 and 8 on that. 0 was over in 1:04.30. It was 8 there first though, 1:03.76. So a quarter of a second separating 0 from 8 in favour of 8. Sebastian Ebanks with the lead at halfway and extending his lead on breaststroke. We tried to spearhead these heats, or they're automatically spearheaded, so lane 4 or the centre lane should be in the middle. What we're seeing here is almost a reverse spearhead with the middle lanes trailing behind the rest of the pool. But absolutely going to be Sebastian Ebanks in lane 8, who seems, well, very difficult to be caught. How much has he got left for the freestyle? Into the last 30 metres or so. Lane 3, Samuel Leveridge trying to swim as fast as he can on the far side, but no doubt about the fact that Ebanks is going to touch first on heat 6. Not bad going, winning your heat from lane 8. His finish time is 2:18.55. And well, Sebastian Ebanks had entered on a 2:21.20, and he's just gone 2:18.55. So the 2:21 will be a converted time. You can almost certainly say that was a PB for Sebastian Ebanks as we go to heat 7, our first cyclical heat in the 200 IM. Charles Kershaw in the middle, third fastest seed into these regional championships. 0 is Paul Page for the City of Leicester. Oliver Osborne of Derby Excel is in 1. Oliver Coville for City of Leicester is in 2. Adam Wilson for Loughborough Uni in 3. 4, Charles Kershaw for Loughborough Uni. 5 is Callum Melville for Nova Centurion. 6 is Jack Fleming for Loughborough Uni. 7, Elliot Sibley for Nova. 8 is Joseph Mulligan for Bramcote. 9, Joseph Parnell for the City of Lincoln. I said that Kershaw was one of the fastest, or would be a fair bit faster than the rest of this field, and he is on paper, and he is proving that in the water here too. Enters on a 2:05.60. But I'm prepared to bet that that is converted, and I'll give you the actual long course best time in just a moment. 200 IM long course best time 2:06.99 would be Charles Kershaw's best. That was set at the 2022 British Summer Championships. Approaching the finish then in the 200 IM. And Charles Kershaw, 21 years of age, swimming for Loughborough University, is going to take the first of our cyclical heats, 2:07.24. Well, he certainly means business, setting a time like that in the heats, 2:07.24. His best is 2:06.99, so he's exactly a quarter of a second, 0.25 ahead of his PB. We could see that PB tumble in tonight's finals for sure. Callum Melville second, Adam Wilson third. Heat 6. Sorry, Heat 8 we are on now. And Archie Dandy for the City of Leicester is in 0. 1 is George Whittle for Derby Excel. 2, Luke Stevens for the City of Leicester. Loughborough Uni have Arthur Llewellyn in 3, Luke Ibbison in 4, and Calvin Fry in 5. Lane 6 is Ethan Richards for the City of Lincoln. 7 is Samuel Cook for Corby. 8, James Lake for Loughborough. 9 is Thomas Daft for Colville. It is Luke Ibbison over first in lane 4, but his teammate Calvin Fry is going with him. These two swimmers, stroke for stroke, on breaststroke. I say stroke for stroke. I was half looking at the screen there. Not far from each other. Ibbison is in the lead, ahead of Fry. And actually, Ibbison extending the lead that he had before on the third 50. Ibbison enters on a 2:04.07. And with 25 to go, you can see Ibbison pulling ahead of the rest of the pool here. 2:04.07, as I said, was his best time. I'd be surprised if he met that. Into the wall he goes. And it's a 2:06.77. So that is quicker than the time posted by Charles Kershaw in the previous heat. Luke Ibbison fastest so far into tonight's 17 years and over final. Calvin Fry second with a 2:10.17. Arthur Llewellyn is third. And we move to the final heat of the 200 IM, heat number 9. Lane 0 in this one is Luke Geel for Nova. In 1, Finley Caudle for Repton. 2, Alex Keeble for Leicester Sharks. 3 is Rico Bridgman for South Links. 4, Ben Harrison for Loughborough Uni. 5, Benjamin Twinham for Derby Excel. 6 is Thomas White for Nova Centurion. 7, Lewis Warner for Notts Leander. 8 is Oliver Oxley for the City of Leicester. 9, Henry Crust for the City of Lincoln. Ben Harrison of Loughborough Uni, 2:01.90. He enters on. And he's over first at halfway. That split for Ben Harrison was 1 minute .50. 101.44 for Lewis Warner, who trails him by 1.4 seconds. Harrison, of course, expected to do well here. Fastest into the entire competition. 23 years old, or at least swimming in the 23 years category, which means that he will be 23 by the 31st of December of this year if he is not already. His actual PB, though, although I say that his entry is 2:01.90, his best time is 2:02.17. 25 to go, and 5 metres clear now is Benjamin Twinham of the rest of the pool. He's going to touch first. Will he clock the fastest time that we have seen so far this afternoon in the 2IM? 2:08.69. He doesn't. He's actually going to be in at least third place coming into the final. 2:08.69 was his finish for Benjamin Twinham. Second on that heat. Sorry, for Ben Harrison. Second on that heat was Benjamin Twinham. Third, Thomas White. So yeah, Ben Harrison, I believe, will be third fastest seed into tonight's 200 IM final. We now switch events. Still 200s. Madeline Smurthwaite of the City of Lincoln Pentaqua goes in 3 on this. 4 is Lily Hamilton for South Links. Harriet Dickerson of Nova is in 5, and 6 is Charlotte Bemrose for Louth.
In lane 3 is Madeline Smurthwaite, City of Lincoln. Lane 4, Lily Hamilton, South Lincolnshire. Lane 5, Harriet Dickerson, Nova Centurion. And lane 6, Charlotte Bemrose of Louth.
Very close at the 150 metre turn between Lily Hamilton in 4 and Charlotte Bemrose in 6. These two girls are very, very close to one another. Both crossed 15 at almost the same time. Good to see some good racing going on in these heats. All swimmers in this one are 15 years old. It's fairly clear on the finish, though. Charlotte Bemrose takes it in 2:20.26. Lily Hamilton is second. Third is Madeline Smurthwaite. second heat of the 200 freestyle. Emma McLean for Rushton in 0. Zara Dixon for the City of Lincoln in 1. 2 is Ella May Pryor for Corby. Grace Grinrod for Northampton in 3. 4, Amelia Roberts for Nova Centurion. 5, Elena Aldenhoff Kelly for Grantham. 6 is Matilda McGrath for Braunston. Megan Neve of Repton is in 7. 8, Emma Ran for Nova Centurion. 9 is Emily Burkitt for Hinckley. Amelia Roberts and Elena Aldenhoff Kelly very close on entry times. So it could be in for a close race here. .75 metres down in lane 3. Grace Grinrod of Northampton seems to be enjoying the slight lead at the moment. And it is slight. Turning first at halfway. One is 6.61 for Grace Grinrod to turn first. 107.68 for Ella May Pryor in lane 2. Immediately to her right as you look at the swimmers coming down the pool now. And we'll be turning for 150 ahead. Ella Pryor turning ahead now of Grace Grinrod, but only by fractions of a second. 0.2 of a second separates Ella Pryor in 2 from Grace Grinrod in 3. Into the last 15, and Ella May Pryor from Corby is going to take this heat with ease, really. A whole body length on Grace Grinrod on the end. That Pryor first in 2:19.27. Actually, Elena Aldenhoff Kelly gets in second position with a 2:20.30. Grace Grinrod just behind that, 2:20.64. Pryor, Aldenhoff Kelly and Grinrod are your 1, 2, 3 on heat 2. Moving to heat 3. And Matilda Hayes for Derby Excel is in 0 on this one. 1 is Charlotte Hodgin for the City of Lincoln. 2, Olivia Anstey for Louth. 3, Millie King for Derby Excel. 4, Katie Taylor for Chesterfield. 5 is Sophie Millage for Swadlinker. In 6, Francesca Hallam-Stott for Grantham. 7, Ruby Credlin for Bassett Law. 8 is Olivia Marshall for Derby Excel. 9 is Erin O'Neill for Radford. Over first there was Millie King in 31.06. Second was Sophie Millage with Katie Taylor only 3 100ths behind, so pretty tight on turn 1, approaching turn 2 and halfway now. And it will be lane 3. Millie King over first for Derby Excel. 105.13. 105.59 for Sophie Millage puts her in second place. 0.4 of a second difference between those two swimmers on that turn. And Katie Taylor trying to stick with both of them in this third heat of the 200 free. Total of 9 heats of this 200 freestyle across the course of this afternoon. Turning for 150. .140.00 for Millie King. And that's put a good way up now ahead of Sophie Millage. Only had 0.4 of a second before. Now she has 2.03 seconds on Sophie Millage, and therefore the rest of the pool. Lane 9 having a decent swim here too. So in fourth position at the moment is Erin O'Neill. But it will be lane 3 who takes the touch, Millie King, with loads of room to spare actually, 2:14.36. Heat 4 coming up. Lucy Bannatyne for the City of Leicester goes in 0 on this one. Lily Tappan for Corby in 1. 2, Janet Fung for Nova Centurion. 3 is Grace Conroy for Repton. 4, Jessica O'Hurley for South Links. Amelia Chescheek of Northampton goes in 5. Olivia Beard for Nova in 6. 7 is Eve Turnbull for Carlton Forum. 8, Grace Wingham for Kettering. 9, Sophie Martin for Chesterfield.
Coach from the University of Nottingham to event control, please. Coach from the University of Nottingham to event control. Thank you.
In lane 0 is Lucy Bannatyne, City of Leicester. Lane 1, Lily Tappan, Corby. Lane 2, Janet Fung, Nova. Lane 3, Grace Conroy, Repton. Lane 4, Jessica O'Hurley, South Links. Lane 5, Amelia Chescheek, South Links. Lane 6, Olivia Beard, Nova. Lane 7, Evie Turnbull, Carlton Forum. Lane 8, Grace Wingham, Kettering. And lane 9, Sophie Martin, Chesterfield.
Another lane 3 lead in Heat 4. Grace Conroy was over first at 50, 29.28 for the Repton swimmer. She's over first at halfway as well.
Entry time 2:43, so that's potentially under threat there.
And there's a lot of water really between Grace Conroy and the rest of the pool now. It's going to be difficult to catch her down the final 50 if any of these swimmers wanted to beat her in this heat. Split there at 150 for Conroy was 138.21. 139.70 for Jessica O'Hurley in lane 4, so not impossible to catch her. Second and a half or so difference between those two times. Conroy's 200 free time, long course time, best time is 2:09.91, and that was from 2018. She touches first there in 2:12.60. Jessica O'Hurley second, and Amelia Chescheek third on that heat. Lane 0 is Abby Mitchell for the City of Leicester. 1 in this one is Grace Turner for Grantham. Nova have Emily Parkins in 2 and Rose Goins in 3. 4 is Elise Kendall of Corby. Uni of Nottingham have Francesca Whiting in 5. Katie Hammond in 6. 7 is Charlotte Wright for Louth. 8, Macy Walton for the City of Leicester. 9, Erin Lee for Nova Centurion.
So, close up this first 100, possibly Elise Kendall from Corby, lane 4, it is 63.97, but it's not a lot really, even lane 0, Abby Mitchell, City Leicester is in the frame, Emily Parkins in lane 2, Nova Centurion going well as well. And in fact, hopefully, lane 0.
Well, this heat a lot tighter than some of them.
So, Abby Mitchell, City Leicester, close
A
now.
lot tighter than some of the ones that we've seen.
Elise
Kendall
Manchester
of
Fighting,
Corby, 138.54
and Katie Howard from the University of
at 50. 138.17 though for Abby Mitchell over in 0. And 0 maybe I'll be the lane that you need to watch here. Abby Mitchell in 0, 17 years of age. She's going to touch first to 11.05. Second is Elise Kendall in a 2:12.43, 2:12.72 for Emily Parkins.
In lane 0 is Jennifer Walker, Bassiglaw. Lane 1, Chase Stewart, Nova. Lane 2, Rachel Webb, Bassiglaw. Lane 3, Tia Gardner, Loughborough Union. Lane 4, Lucy Cowden, Derby Excel. Lane 5, Darcy Platt, City of Leicester. Lane 7, Georgie Reynolds, Repton. Lane 8, Jessica Carter from Nova. And lane 9, Olivia Hannah, Repton.
To 11 times that are entered here. Coach from Derby Excel, coach to the control, please. Thank you. So still lane 4. Lucy Cup of Derby Excel, and that's a metre in front now. Lane number 9 is going well here. Olivia Hannah of Repton.
P7.
Heat 7 is away. 0 is Lily Freeman for Northampton. Anna Farr for the City of Leicester in 1. Chloe Goodridge for Northampton in 2. 3 is Anna Farrow for the City of Leicester. 4, Maisie Elliott for Loughborough Uni. Scarlett Orchard of Loughborough in 5. Alice Deering for Loughborough in 6. Livia Kingsland for Nova in 7. Jessica Brandon for Nova in 8. 9 is Bea Jones for the City of Leicester. Total of 9 heats in this 200 freestyle. So heat 7, this one that we're on now, the first of our cyclical swims. Now, no swimmer actually present in lane 4, so lane 4 and lane 5 are both DNSs, did not start, which means that, sorry, I said that wrong. Lane 3 and lane 4 are both DNS. Lane 5 is swimming, and that is Scarlett Orchard, and she is in the lead here. Enters on a 2:04.40, but that is probably converted. I am currently locked out of the Swim England database for searching for swimmers' PBs too many times. There is unfortunately a limit of how many it will allow you to search for, so unable to pull up that information right now. However, Orchard is a couple of metres ahead of her teammate Deering in lane 6. Orchard takes the heat in 2:06.11. Second, Deering in 2:09.45. As we move on to heat number 8 now. Zero here is Anna Tyers for Derby Excel. Repton have Harriet Oxley in 1, Hannah Hodgkiss in 2, and Maria Romanoska in 3. 4 is Emma Croker for South Links. Georgina Pryor for Derby Excel in 5. 6 is Alexandra Bulett for City of Lincoln. 7, Asia Coate for Derby Excel. 8 is Holly Robinson for Repton. 9 is Alyssa Lowe for the City of Leicester. Maria Romanoska of Repton was over first at halfway. 1:51 for the Repton swimmer. Croker and Pryor in 4 and 5 respectively trail her equally. Very little separating those two, but Romanoska is certainly leader of this pack. Georgina Pryor starting to make a move, though, on the final 50 from lane 5. Chasing down Maria Romanoska in 3 into the final 5 metres, and Romanoska should take this in the end. Finishes just ahead of Georgina Pryor. Finish time there 2:03.59. Well, that's a fair bit quicker than the previous heat went. 2:03.59 is a brand new PB for Maria Romanoska as well. Down from a 2:04.63. She's just taken over a second off her 203 best time, and that time is only 6 weeks old. as we move on to final heat now on the 200 freestyle. 0 here is Holly Lamb for the City of Leicester. Amelia Moule for Loughborough Uni in 1. Alicia Massey for Repton in 2. Henrietta Dumassa for Repton in 3. 4. Mia Slevin for Loughborough Uni. Laurie Devine of Repton goes in 5. 6. Alicia Dingle for Alicia Dingle for Loughborough Uni. 7 is Charlotte Room for Derby Excel. 8 is Fleur Lewis for Loughborough Uni. 9 is Lucy Hitchin for Repton.
Maria Slevin of Loughborough University on the 400 last night. 60.37. Looked about 2.324, something like that.
Into the final 15 metres for Henrietta Dumassa for Mia Slevin in lane 4. She's going to take the touch in 2:04.74 to a 6:35 for Henrietta Dumassa to come second.
Next event is 503, men's 15 and under, 50 metres breaststroke from the scoreboard end. Lane 3, Nathaniel Costigan, University. Lane 4, Ellis Bancroft, Loughborough. Lane 5, Dominic Wood.
Switching now to 50 breast. Nathaniel Costigan of Loughborough Uni in 3. 4 Ellis Bancroft for Loughborough Town. And 5 is Dominic Washbrook for Lincoln Vulcans. Into the wall first there was Ellis Bancroft in 34.94, 37 flat for Dominic Washbrook, 43.27 for Nathaniel Costigan. Costigan, SB 11 swimmer, so that'll be how come he's swimming in this heat, swimming at this meet. 8 swimmers in the next one. Lane 1 is Harry Pyatt for Works Up. Leander have Ben Sharp in 2. Tobias Hughes in 3. 4 is Jacob Breers for Deepings. 5 Ryan Norton for Boston. Sutton's Jake Bohr goes in 6. 7 is Quinn Coppen for Long Eaton. 8 is Taylor Keane for Market Harborough. Well, we're only on heat 2, and good luck calling this one. I think if I had to, I'd say 6. Sorry, maybe 5. 6? 5? 5. Ryan Norton, 34.56. 34.59 for Jake Bort. And it was difficult. 3/100ths of a second separating them. Tobias Hughes third with a 35.24. Already we can see just how tight these 50s are going to be. Zero to 9 on this one. Franklin Phillips for Rushton. Percival Johnson for Arnold. Harrison Howes for Leander. And Aidan Fitzgibbon for the City of Lincoln Pentaqua. Jack Kentish for Northampton. 5 is Charlie Jeans for Repton. Then 6 through 9 is Rory Deppel-Judge for Dronfield. Teammate Harrison Griggs White in 7. Joby Evans for Mansfield in 8. Jack Hughes for Lincoln Vulcans in lane 9. 25 metres to go. 4 is the leader here, Jack Kentish for Northampton. And he is leading by a good little bit. 34.74. That'll be a genuine 50-metre entry time. Hits the wall in 33.73. Wow, he's just taken a second 0.01. 1.01 off his PB. That's a good swim from Jack Kentish. Second, Harrison Howes. Third, Pavel Johnson. Heat 4 coming up. Sam Mercer of Repton in 0. Stefano Fiort for South Links in 1. 2 through 6 is Finn Reed of Loughborough. Alexander Menshutskin for Kettering. Oliver Henshaw for Belvoir-Marlin. Mark Jourdain for Buxton. And Jake Adams for Louth. 7 through 8, Noah Van Hoebeck for Chesterfield. Jacob Millwood for Nova Centurion. And Hayden Potts for Lincoln Vulcans. Heat 4 of the 50 breaststroke is go. And now 25 metres to go. Lane 3 seems to be in the lead here. Alexander Menshutskin for Kettering. Ahead by a fraction. But into the last 5, he is going to take this heat just about by a stroke or so, mind. Finish time for Menshutskin, 33.22. Enters on a 34.21, so he's just taken a second PB. In fact, he's taken 0.99 off. So the last one was 1.01. This one is a 0.99 PB. As we go to heat 5, 0 Cameron Bell for Rushton, 1 William Parnell for the City of Lincoln, 2 Jack Sharp for Leicester Neptune, 3 Luke Chambers Nova Centurion, 4 Christopher Oliver for Long Eaton, 5 Loic Wrightson for Wellingborough, 6 is Max Holland for Nova Centurion, 7 Oscar Goldsmith for South Links, 8 is Cole Angel for Kettering, 9 Jack Zaravica for Grantham. Lane 5 is our leader at the moment, Loic Wrightson of Wellingborough, really going for it here. Get a better view on that second camera. He might get touched out here by someone in lane 1 or 2, but it could be from 5. It is Loic Wrightson first, 32.93. 32.93 for Loic Wrightson. First swimmer we've seen under 33 seconds, and I believe that'll be the first time that Loic has been under 33 as well. Enters on a 33.46, just went a 32.97. So it's just taken... Wow, again, that is 0.99. These PBs uncannily similar, but 0. No, I've got that wrong. 0.49. 0.49. Clearly I need to go back and do a little bit of mental maths, but it was half a second. Half a second PB there for Loic Wrightson. Right, I've got to get these swimmers out rather quick. 0 through 4, Joseph Mulligan, Edward Bailey, Ben Lord, Lewis Cotterill, Aman Tethi, and 5 through 9, William Muddermere, Nicholas Sakupavolu, Oliver Richmond, Jared Collins, and Jacob Hodgkinson. Clubs if you want them: Bramcote, Leander, Lincoln, Leicester, Rushton, Loughborough, Nova, and Bassett Law. Into the final 5 on this heat, and this one's even more difficult to call than some that we've seen. 5 was their first, though. William Muddermere for Loughborough Town, 32.15. 32.15 for William Muddermere. Lewis Cotterill second, Saku Pavolic third. Zero through 4, Cole Stevens, Cayman Parker Cox, Lewis Warner, Alfie Malloy, Evan Hawley, George Berwick, and 6 through 9, Paul Page, Matthew Debenham, Nathan Morgan, and Lyndon Johnson. Chesterfield, Neptune, Leander, Loughborough, Nova, Grantham, City Leicester, Northampton, Repton, and Hucknall. Into the last 10 metres already, and this could come from 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. Into the wall they come, and it is 1 there first. Cayman Parker Cox takes the touch in 32.13. Not bad, taking a heat from lane 1. And it's a 0.2 of a second inside his PB, so he will be happy with that, I'm sure. Heats 8, 9, and 10 to come. All cyclically seeded now. George Cummins goes in 0, Thomas Stevens in 1, George Whittle in 2, Ryan Catra in 3, Jack Blair in 4, Michael Edwards in 5, Jacob Hamlin in 6, Henry Crust in 7, Carl Merriweather in 8, and William Sodden Barton in lane 9. Leander Daventry, Derby XL, Loughborough Town, Chesterfield, Loughborough Uni, Derby XL, City of Lincoln, Radford, and Leander. 25 done, 25 to go. Jack Blair of Chesterfield in the centre, 29.13 entry time. Not seen a time go near the sub-30 area, but we could see one here into the last 5. He's being chased down by Michael Edwards, who's definitely going with him, but Blair gets there first in a 29.63. Second, Michael Edwards in 29.88, so 2 times under the 30-second mark. And Jacob Hamlin third in a 30.57. Two more heats to go of the 50 breast. This one, 0 Kieran Howard, 1 Archie Forrester, 2 James Berry, 3 Daniel Owen-Nichols, 4 Adam Metcalf, 5 Thomas White, 6 Luke Whitten, 7 Arthur Llewellyn, 8 Julian Lee, 9 Thomas Boyd. Radford, Loughborough, Radford, Nova, Loughborough, Uni, Nova, Long Eaton, Loughborough Uni, Kettering, Northampton. Wide range of clubs in a lot of these heats. A lot of different clubs represented at these regional championships. 25 metres, well, that was anybody's guess in terms of who is there first. No swimmer in lane 4. Adam Metcalf did not start this race. Lane 1 might take this. Archie Forrester, which would be a big upset for a cyclic heat. He doesn't get there first in the end, though. 4th, actually, for lane 1. First was from lane 5. Thomas White in 30.49. Well, that was quite a bit slower, though, than the previous heat. That said, the previous heat did have its fastest seed in, whereas fastest seed into this heat was not there. 30.49. Even that, though, is a good 0.7 of a second slower than the second place time in the previous heat. So not as fast as heat 8. Heat 10 is now about to get in the water. Jack Taylor in 0, James Annabelle in 1, Max Balderson in 2, Dominic Bulls in 3, Callum Melville in 4, Mackenzie Cannon in 5, Ross Balderson in 6, Oliver Koval in 7, Aaron Flynn in 8, Omar Hijazi in lane 9. Sharks, Kettering, Rushton, Repton, Nova, Loughborough Uni, Rushton, City of Leicester, Wellingborough and Uni of Nottingham. 25 done. 5 seems to have the edge here. Mackenzie Cannon, can he hold off Callum Melville? Fastest seed into the competition, enters on a 28.56, only 17 years old, swimming for Nova. He cannot because Melville takes it in 29.27, 29.27. Fastest time so far. That'll put him in lane 4 in tonight's final. 29.59 was the second place time, and that'll put Mackenzie Cannon back into lane 4. He had a good go there at catching Callum Melville, and we'll see those two battle it out again in tonight's final. Dominic Bulls 29.98. Well, he will also go into the final in a pretty decent lane.
In lane 3, we have Eliza Humphrey from Northampton. And in lane 5...
Just two swimmers in this first heat at 100 backstroke. Both of them para swimmers. Eliza Humphrey in 3 and Amber Haycock in 5. Humphrey swimming for Northampton, Haycock swimming for Rushton. Eliza Humphrey S11 and Amber Haycock S10. Eliza Humphrey's sister Scarlett Humphrey holds the British record in the 100 backstroke. Set it last month at the World Para Series in Sheffield. 126.40 is that time. But I think I might be wrong about this. I think the next stage of the World Series next stage of the World Para Series, I should say, sorry, is coming up, and I think that Scarlett is involved in that, which is why she's not at this meet this weekend. But it's going to be Amber Haycock that takes the heat. Would expect so with the difference in class 1. 15.73 for Amber Haycock. Entered on a 1:14.98, so just a second or so outside her time. Eliza Humphrey finishes in 1:29.78. Well, she'd entered on a 1:29.16. So both of them just outside their bests.
A reminder that coaches from Rummy and Rushton to event trophies. In this heat, lane 1, Charlotte Penrose from Louth. Lane 2, Hebe Spooner, Trumfield. Lane 3, Abby Tunnicliffe, Derby Excel. Lane 4, Grace Twilton, City of Lincoln, Pentacra. Lane 5, Elizabeth Palfrey, Loughborough. Lane 6, Eve King, Bassett Law. Lane 7, Lola Harmshaw, Radford. Lane 8, H. Dyche, Scotland Cove.
Swimmers in 1 through 8 here then. Charlotte Bemrose of Louth, Hebe Duna for Dronfield, Abby Tunnicliffe for Derby Excel, Grace Twitton for the City of Leicester, Elizabeth Palfrey for Loughborough, Neve Ping for Bassett Law, Lola Halmshaw for Radford, and Paige Dyche for Swadlincote. That was very tight there between lanes 2 and 3. 2 won it though. Spooner in 112.58, 112.70 for Abby Tunnicliffe in lane 3 to touch second. Grace Twilton third. Those two second and a half ahead of the rest of the pool easily. Heat 3 on its way. Heat 3 swimmers 0 through 9. Matilda McGrath, Julia Joswiak, Millie King, Janet Fung, Charlotte Hodgkin, Emma McLean, Ola Ayton Jones, Lauren Tomlinson, Isabel McCorkle, and Mimi Fisher. First in is lane 2. Millie King in 110.44, 111.41 for Emma McLean to touch second. Ola Ayton Jones is third in a 112.43.
backstroke. Entry times all around the 110, 111 mark. Darrington turning 34.41. Still Rebecca Darrington from Bradford. Latham is sewing going well here. Grace Wigan of Kettering.
There will be a swim-off for men's 650 breaststroke finals after the 400 metre event. So at the end of the 400, please let the away officials or anybody else will be having a swim-off for men's 650 breaststroke. But we still need to make sure we're walking.
Grace Wingham from Kettering took that heat in 110.99. Second was Rebecca Darrington in a 111.83 and 111.99 for Mia Copping to come third. Wingham was in lane 7. Entered on a 111.1, so should be happy with a 110.93. So difficult to try to keep up really with what swimmers are expecting from their swims based on entry times. Entry times only give you a guide. There were so many conversions flying about, it's not really, no coach would advise you to compare a short course time with a long course time. We keep those very much separate. If you said a long course PB, it's a PB. If you said a short course PB, it's a short course PB. 0 on this one is Georgie Reynolds for Repton. Jessica Wright for Bramcote goes in 1. Megan Neve for Repton in 2. Amreen Sanghera for the City of Leicester in 3. Katie Taylor for Chesterfield in 4. Olivia Anstey for Louth in 5. 6 is Holly Giles for Louth. 7, Brianna Hanson-Hall for Repton. 8 is Beatrice Finch for South Links. 9, Kate Pearson for Chesterfield. All these swimmers in the 110 region based on entry times. I should also add that Megan Neve is swimming in the S14 category, so her time and her para points will count towards the multi-classification awards that are available here. 25 metres to go in this 100 backstroke heat, and 0. Georgie Reynolds seems to maybe have the lead. It would be impressive to win a heat from 0. She's going to do exactly that. Georgie Reynolds, 17 from Repton. She's going to take the heat in 110.46. Well done